So I'm late. I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm like 20 minutes late. Um so I'll give y'all that why I'm late. But let me clean this. Okay. But first, I'm going to make sure everything is working. This is my first time using Restream. Um, my girl Tracy Nicole on YouTube and Facebook, she mentioned that she used it, and I was like, oh, let me try that. So let me get everything together here, and let me give you all, hey, Angela. And let me see. Let me make sure it is streaming on Facebook because this is my first time using it. So I just want to be sure. Okay, yes, it is streaming on Facebook. Let me take this off because I am not doing a master class anymore. So let's remove this so you don't have that. And let's see. Do, 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 do. So everything is good. So hey, y'all. So let me first, I feel like I owe you, that's my little scenery in the background. So I feel like I definitely owe you an explanation of why I was so late today. So I discovered, and I think you all will like this. After that, we'll dive straight into the questions. So the Q&A part of this, traveling, investing, Africa, living abroad, with a child, living abroad with a child with special needs and a disability, solo trips, South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, Zambia, Zimbabwe. We're going to get on into all of that. So if you're on, feel free to go ahead and start typing in your questions in the chat. So I'm gonna tell y'all while I was late. So here in Rwanda, I discovered that there is a place called Seeing Hands. And basically what Seeing Hands is it's a massage therapy place, but they take individuals with vision impairments or that are blind, and they teach them the art of massage. And I thought that was really cool. And the reason why is because when you lose one sense or when one sense is severely decreased, the other senses are increased. So, with that being said, I was like, oh, I'll try a massage. I think that would be really good. So, the massage was great, but it was up two flights of stairs. Cam was with me, so I had to factor in time to get up the stairs and to get down the stairs. So, that took us maybe 15 minutes on the front end and 15 minutes on the back end. So I am here. I am live. Let's see. Let's see. So, like I said, this is my first time using this. So, I want to make sure I get your questions in. So, first, I'm just going to kind of go over what I've been doing. Let's see. Live now. So I have not been posting on YouTube as much. If you follow me, I've been doing more Facebook and more Instagram. So what I want to do today is kind of give an update of what's going on. First, please let me know if you can hear me okay. You can, there's traffic in the background. So I just want to make sure that you all are able to hear me. So if you can't, let me know. So what I found is that I think it's been a few it's been a few months now that I've been abroad. And basically we're in Rwanda as our home base, and then we have Kenya that we visited. I did a solo trip to South Africa, and then let me see, when I went to South Africa, I also went to Zambia and I went to Zimbabwe to see the falls on both sides. So, and I had to take a moment and think about it because what I found is that let's see. What am I trying to say? I'm sorry, I was trying to send a message. So, what I found that I was traveling along doing things, and I think I had forgotten that I had now reached my goal. I had now reached my dreams because I had this dream to travel Africa. Now I haven't traveled all of Africa. Y'all know Africa is a huge continent. So primarily East Africa and some of South Africa. But this year alone, I have made it to 5 different countries in Africa, which is a pretty big feat considering how much plane tickets cost in Africa. So today, I just wanted to take some time to go back and answer some of the questions. I know that a lot of people have reached out to me and they have different questions, and this is the time to throw those questions out for me. And right now, it's absolutely free to have me answer these questions. I do one-on-one appointments at time, um, but right now is when it's free. So you are absolutely, positively can pick my brain. So hold on. It seems like someone said they're not seeing me on Facebook. So I'm going to post the link for YouTube just in case. Let me see, since they're not seeing me on Facebook. I'm not sure why I'm seeing it on Facebook. In the meantime, go ahead and start posting your questions for me so I can start answering your questions. Um, so while you're doing that, I'm going to share it here. Why is it doing it? Okay. I don't see any questions yet, y'all. Okay, so since I don't see any questions yet, I will start just kind of giving you an overview of what's going on. I did just post a video where I travel, where I kind of talked about traveling to Kenya, how you should do it, the things to avoid, the things to pay attention to. I posted that and I recorded it months ago, but I posted that, so that will be up tomorrow for you all to take a look at to see that video because it talks all about from the plane to lodging, Uber, Bolt. I talk about the different things there are to do there as far as going to not just all of the different safaris, museums, all different types of things. So everything you ever wanted to know, or everything that I know about Kenya, um, is definitely there. So definitely check that part out for Kenya. Um, let me see. I'm trying to think of the questions I've been asked because I don't see any questions in the group. Let me see. So let's see. I've had a few questions. Well, I've had a few people reach out to me and say they have questions, but I don't know what the questions are. So I need y'all to ask me questions. I do so badly with programming a live. I do so much better when I just go live instead of programming it. Okay. So since you don't have any questions, I'm trying to go through this and see where I can start. So let me start with Africa because a lot of people want to know about coming to the continent. So when I started packing for Africa, there were so many things that I got. There were things that I just ordered. When I pack and I travel, there are certain things I take with me. I take my activated charcoal. For those that don't know, that is an amazing cure to almost any stomach issue. So if you're feeling nausea, vomiting, anything like that, activated charcoal is a good thing to have on board. Not saying that as your medical practitioner, just as a friend. Um, I took hydrating in hydrating, not enzymes. I brought hydrating electrolytes. I did not need those as of yet, but I do have them. I also bought these drops where you put them in your water to clean your water. A lot of places, not just Africa, don't have clean water, but you buy the big container of water, so it's not like clean water isn't available. It just doesn't come out of your sink. Some other things, I bring small umbrellas to travel with. Throw those in the bag so that I have those. Um, Let me see. I'm trying to think what else do I bring. I'm just trying to throw out some information out there until y'all actually start asking some questions. Um, Let me see. My son uses crutches, so I actually bring an extra pair of crutches, an extra pair of crutch tips. If there's something that you absolutely need, absolutely want, if it's a hair product, I don't care what country it is, take your hair products. At least take their start in hair products. Somewhere like Rwanda, they don't have hair products, and if they do have hair products, hold on. My son is extra loud. And if they do have your hair products, they are so expensive. For example, like a Cantu leave-in conditioner, leave-in strengthener is like $20 here. And that is for the regular size jar. So just make sure you have your hair products. I would say to go ahead and take feminine products to get started because not, you don't know that they're going to have the same thing you have. If you go somewhere like Mexico, where you can get Amazon, Dominican Republic, I was able to get Amazon through a courier. Those places didn't really require as much for me to bring as much. My starter material was good, but somewhere like Rwanda, where they are landlocked, which means they have no water around them. So for that reason, they have no trade here. And this is something that I've learned. So when a country is landlocked, they don't manage their trade. So bringing products in and sending products out. So what happens is they spend so much money bringing and sending out products that your prices increase astronomically, and then they add on basically a we have it and you don't tax. So it ends up being ridiculously priced. Your regular size secret deodorant, or what's the one for men? Regular size deodorant can easily be $10 to $15. So these are things that you want to consider when you're choosing your country that you're going to and that you're visiting. Is it a country that's landlocked? Um, Hold on, my son is so loud. So you want to I think it's starting to get dark. So my cuz here it's actually 5:50 p.m. So I'm looking, let me see. Let me fix that cuz it's looking a little dark. But I'll fix that in a moment. See how I fix that in a minute. So, with that being said, though, you want to keep that in mind, that it may be a cheaper place to live, but it may be more expensive because they don't have the things here. So, give me a moment. I'm going to turn on the light. Feel free to put some questions in the chat. I'm just going to relocate. So I'm just gonna relocate because I feel like it's so dark right here. Maybe it's the one spot I was in because it doesn't seem. as dark anymore. I may have to move my spot. There we go. All right. So again, this is a Q&A, and I haven't gotten any cues yet. Let me check Facebook. I'm waiting on your questions. I need some interaction here. Okay. Let me check Facebook. Make sure there's no questions there. Okay. Okay. Oops. Okay. So, that's one thing that I would say. The other thing is that somewhere like Rwanda, is very big on Oop, that was a bird. So in Rwanda, they have this no plastic bag thing that they have going on. They've shaped their country off of Singapore. So that's what Singapore does. They don't do plastic bags. They do recycling, things of that nature. And they're also one of the safest countries. Rwanda is pretty safe. It's not so safe that I would say let your guard down because things do happen here, just like anywhere else. But I would say for African country, it's really safe. And I mean, even when we compare it to American country, because it's not, this is not really the place that you're going to see Americans, not really Americans, but any foreigners that are going to be killed or something major happening. What you more so see here is more petty crimes. So, it's not that you want to let your guard down, but it is one of the safer places to be. Um, Now, when you're traveling, know that, especially when you're traveling long distance. So if you're going to travel from, hey, so if you're going to travel from like America to Africa, America to Europe, especially America to East Africa, know that you will be flying for about 3 days. So I want you to be prepared for that in your mind. You will be flying for 3 days. You won't be flying the whole time for 3 days. You will stop. So, for example, when we came, we left on a Wednesday night. We got in like Wednesday night, like 10 p.m. We got in Friday morning, like 6 a.m. Our flight landed. That was with a layover in Qatar, which I really loved Qatar. A layover in Qatar for, I think, 8 hours. Um, so that is definitely something to consider. And then once you get there, don't plan your trip. Yeah. Don't plan your trip like, oh, I'm gonna get there on Friday and think that you're about to go. You will have jet lag. It took me about 3 days to get through my jet lag, because it was 6 a.m. Rwanda time, which meant that it was about 11 p.m. our time. The good thing about leaving at night is at least you can sleep on the flight, but it's still very difficult to go from, a time zone of 6 to 8 hours different, and you're going ahead 6 to 8 hours. So I would say, even if you're going on a trip, if you have an itinerary of 8 days, make sure you do 10 days because you need at least a day. Even if you're good with going, time zone traveling, um, give yourself at least a day to really acclimate to the new environment. Malaysia asked, do you house sit, use hotels or Airbnb? Okay, so I tried doing my trial house sit in Atlanta because that's my home base. That's my time. My hometown is Atlanta. I did one weekend. I was very glad. I think it was like overnight or Friday to Sunday. I was very glad I did. The people were very, very nice. However, the house was not what I would consider clean. The dog slept in the bed that they were having me sleep in. So there was dog hair. Even though they was like, yeah, my parents sleep in that room. Yes, it was dog hair everywhere. The cat jumped on the counter, jumped on the kitchen table. Um, the cat's food was on the kitchen counter. So basically, I spent more money than it was worth doing this house sit. I found a Dollar General. I went to the Dollar General. I bought blankets. I bought a pillow. I bought a pillowcase. Um, and I put that on top of the bed and only slept on the throw. I just bought a small throw. I only slept on the throw. I locked the animals out of the house while I was not out of the house. I'm sorry, out of the room while I was in there because I don't sleep with animals. I did walk them. They were nice, cool animals. The cat and the dog fought like sister and brother. It was quite hilarious. I now have 24. Hold on, my son gets loud. So I have 24 months of free house sitting, trusted house sitters. Y'all, I think that I am the person that gets the worst of everything. Like, I don't know, and I'm not trying to claim it, but I feel like that's the way my life goes sometimes. So I did that by myself. I did it solo, and I did it because I was like, oh, I can go to the wineries up there because it was North Georgia. So I did do that solo. And I just didn't book another house sit since then. I now know that there are way more questions that you want to ask with house sitting. There are some people that are professional house sitters, like Stephanie Perry and Diamond Crystal, but I just want to pay for my accommodations and do what I want to do. I can't. Yeah. So with that being said, I do hotels and Airbnbs. Um, and I also do local apartments as well. Like the house that I'm currently in, I'm renting this house. So I'll tell you a little bit about how that works. Malaysia, I don't want to throw you off of house sitting. That was just my one incident. I never tried again. And like I said, there are plenty of people. There's sisters who house sit or sisters that house sit. So there are plenty of people that do house sit and they don't have horror stories. I just think I got unlucky. Yeah, I don't know. I got unlucky. So I won't say don't do a house sit. What I will say is do one close to home first and a short one so you can see how it is and decide if you want to do it. Um, so I have two go-tos depending on whether I'm staying in that country for like a month or if I'm going for just like a vacation. If I'm going for a vacation and I'm solo, I stay in hotels. The reason why is because it's short. I'm by myself, so I don't even need breakfast. And I like the fact that there is hotel staff and security that is looking out for me. They are making sure that I'm coming in and I'm going out. I can ask them where to walk, where not to walk, what to do, what not to do. I feel like for me it's an extra layer of protection if I'm solo and I'm only staying a short period of time. So that's what I do. I just do a hotel even if I'm not solo and I have my son. If we're not staying a month, I'll just do a hotel. um and that's actually worked out great for us because hotels have a certain standard, whereas like house sitting and Airbnb, they don't have a standard. Everybody just does what they want to do with their property. So you have to keep that in mind when you are deciding if you want to stay there. If we're going to stay somewhere longer, I do an Airbnb. And I do an Airbnb for like a month. And I know some people don't do the Airbnb for a month because they want to make sure that it's good first. So they may do it for 3 or 4 weeks, 3 or 4 days, and then extend. But I always wonder, like, what if it's not available? Um, if you, or at least do it for like a week or two and then extend. But remember, you typically get a discount for a week and then a discount for a month. But that's all based off of the host and whether or not they give the discounts. But most hosts, the majority of hosts, give discounts for a month. So if you only do for a week or two and then you book longer, then you lose that discount. Another thing that I'll do is, if I do book for a week or two, then I may ask for a discount and pay them directly. Now you do lose the Airbnb promise if you do that, but by that time you stayed a week or two and you already know if you like the place or not. And they know that you can still give a review for that place up to 2 weeks after the last day. So it's not like, there's absolutely no recourse there. So that's what I will do, because honestly, even if they keep their same rate and just remove the Airbnb fees and all of that, like you don't pay another cleaning fee because you've already paid a cleaning fee. So even if they remove their rate, you could sometimes save like $500+ a month, depending on how long you're booking for. So that's why I'll do it that way. I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes I get a cough and sometimes I don't. My allergies here. So that's why I'll do it that way. As far as now, once you're somewhere and you decide you want to stay long time term, you can look for somewhere else. So within that first month, you start connecting with other expats. Maybe you'll connect with locals, and now that you're on the ground and you're seeing the places, now you can start to decide if this is the neighborhood you want to live in, and you can start looking for an apartment to actually rent. Hold on a second. Oh, I don't want any flies going here. Don't be loud. Excuse me. So, sorry. It's getting darker here because, I'm on the other side of the world. So, I need to close the door so no mosquitoes go in there. But so that's the thing that you want to consider. You can rent locally. Keep in mind that Airbnbs are going to be way higher than anything else, basically. They're going to be cheaper than hotels, but you can't cook and all of that in a hotel. So you don't want to stay there long term. You use more money staying in a hotel long term, unless you're like solo. So the way I do it, I'll stay up to 2 weeks in a hotel solo. And normally I'm not going to stay in the same hotel. I'm bopping to different places. If I have my son with me, I'll stay up to a week because these children get expensive. They want to eat all the time. With us, we can go out, have a small meal, then have that big meal at a nice restaurant and be good. These kids be wanting 3 meals a day, snacks. We can't do that in a hotel. So so with that being said, I'm like, no, a week is the most we'll do in a hotel. Let's see. Do. So let me know if you have any other questions on that. Let me go up. Let's see. All right. So the 30th anniversary of the genocide. 30th, yes, 30th. So April is the month of the genocide. For those that don't know, I was not coughing like this earlier. So, for those that don't know, Rwanda, I don't think anyone doesn't know, but Rwanda had a genocide in April 30 years ago, 1994, I think is when it ended. It lasted I think a few months, but I mean, they killed off so many of their people. And before the actual genocide, they were already killing off many of their people. And very interesting enough, this particular genocide was Rwandese versus Rwandese. Um, to tell you a little bit about the history, just a quick blurb. Basically, they had two classes of people that were separated by the number of cows they could have. They had five or more cows made you one tribe, not necessarily tribe. We'll call it a class A and class B. So five cows or more, you were class A. Less than five cows, you were class B. If you earned or were able to buy more cows, you can move from class B to class A. So people think that these are tribes, these were actually classes of individuals. In came the French settlers, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, pretty sure if it's the French settlers. They came in, did what they needed to do, and told them that Class A was better than Class B. Now they all look the same to me, so I'm not really sure how that's the case. And maybe they didn't have the logic to know to remember that they're a class system, and you have to remember they weren't a civilized environment at that time. You know, even though in the 90s we think that we at least had dial-up AOL and all of that, they were still living in what they consider the bushes. So um, even though the French did not stay long, I'm told that they've had many, many kind of colonizers, but the French really did a number on them because even though they didn't stay long, the fact that they said, well, Class A is better than Class B. Class A is more sophisticated than Class B. Class A, people at Class B are ugly. There it is, they're that. And people in Class A are, up class, da 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 da. But they all look the same. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe to a Rondon they look different, but to me they all look the same. Anyway, of course, there comes the Uncle Tom or group of them that decide, oh well, Class B is such a superior group of individuals, even though there were more, way like maybe 20%. And then these aren't exact numbers, maybe 20-30% Class A, and everybody else was Class B. They basically gave them passports. They had passports that said who's Class A and who's Class B, kind of like apartheid. But instead of the whites dividing them at this point, they were dividing them because the French were gone. There wasn't really much here in Rwanda. Like, this isn't a place that you come and find gold or anything. Like, there's nothing major here, which is why Rwanda is a great place to start trying to bring in tourism, and they do a lot of conventions, things of that nature, because they don't have any natural resources like many of the African countries do have. So the colonizers don't normally stay long. However, they had implanted a seed in the Rwandan people, and that's how they began to destroy their own people. They began tagging these people, making lists of these people who were part of Class B. Um, and then they began executing them. However, remember that they're not sophisticated like most nations are. So they are beating the people in Class B with spiked clubs, if you can even imagine. They are cutting them with machetes. In the Genocide Museum, they said how one man cut open, I think it was another man or a woman, because he said he wanted to see if he had red blood or if milk would come out of him. The Class A would rape the Class B women. In the Class A, men that were raping them knew they had HIV or AIDS. So they would rape the women and they would allow the women to stay alive on purpose so that they can suffer. So feel free to come to Rwanda, see the Genocide Museum, watch Hotel Rwanda. I've never watched it, but that's more information than I knew before I came to Rwanda. So, April marks the 30th anniversary of the genocide. And what they had decided immediately after the genocide is that they were no longer Class A and Class B. They were all one. They were all Rwandans, and they were to forgive one another. Even though your mother may have killed your father may have killed your sisters and brothers, your godfather may have killed your mother, your neighbors may have killed, your whole family. They were now one. So they now identify as just Rwandans. So they have the word slips my mind. So every month, last Saturday of the month, they come together as a community and they do volunteer work to keep their country clean, which is why Rwanda is one of the cleanest countries in Africa. So they come together, they clean their country, they plant trees, they do all of these different things to, in a sense, commemorate that they're together and they're one. So this is a requirement. This is not a choice. This is something they are required to do. And for the 30th, and well, every April, they celebrate, for the lack of, maybe commemorate the genocide. And for the 30th anniversary, they'll be doing the same thing. So I don't know exact celebrations that they'll have, but they've already started planning a few things and they'll start releasing that. I'm sure there'll be something in the Genocide Museum, maybe something in the city center, things of that nature. But that's what's going on. I felt a need to give y'all a brief history. I hope that was okay. So that's it. Let's see. Oh, you didn't get your notification. Hey. Let's see. I'm a full-time traveler. Um, but I go on vacations and I go back to the States. My son's doctors are in the States. He's disabled, so we have to see his doctors and all those different things. Sometimes I'm a bopper. Sometimes I just bop around country to country, and sometimes I stay. I think I'm getting to the point where I'm staying a little longer in places. I'm kind of getting tired of bopping around as much, but I don't know. You never know. Like people will ask me where am I going next, and I'm like, I'm not telling you because what I say today may not be what I do tomorrow. Even once I get a plane ticket, that does not mean I'll go. I have forfeited many plane tickets that are non-refundable. Sadly enough, because I decided I don't want to go. I'll get places like I was only supposed to be in Rwanda for a month, and yeah, 6 months later, yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's how that goes. And it just depends on how you want to live your life, though. Maybe your life allows you to do vacations and do scouting trips where you look to see if this is a place that you want to live. Maybe your life allows you to live abroad some of the year, and then some of the year you live home. I kind of do that because I go back a few months every year. Maybe your life allows you to just however you want to do it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Since I've been in Rwanda, I've visited South Africa, I've visited Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. So no wrong way to do it. You seem like you found your groove in Rwanda, but you mentioned moving somewhere else. Have you narrowed down where might be the next, or any thoughts you're open to share? So I have found a groove in Rwanda. However, Rwanda is boring to me. Night is beautiful. I'm going to show you this right here is my front yard. So, let's see, I'm going to stand out here so you can see it better. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is my front yard, my compound. Um, this is my manicured lawn that my house mate, house help keeps up. I'll even show you my house. So this is my home upstairs. Hopefully, I'm still connected. I don't want to go too far and lose my signal. Upstairs, that's my balcony off of my bedroom. I've always wanted a balcony off of my bedroom. So, over here, I'm gonna see if you can see it. I have a banana tree growing right there. That's my banana tree, right? Um, so you would think this is amazing. So I'm gonna go sit back down. Um, and Charisma, you've been there so long. Y'all, Rwanda is boring. I don't know that I have ever been to a place so boring. Rwanda has clubs that you can go to. They have bars that you can go to. What Rwanda and I think what did get me to stay here is the community, the Black Pats community, and then I met a group of Sudanese people, and they're really cool. But it's boring. And when I say boring, I like to go to plays. I like to go to let's see, I like to go to plays, comedy shows, spoken word, things of that nature. Those are the things that I like to do. And those are not things that are readily available here. A lot of the homes, you said lovely home. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the way, this is how Rwanda looks. Very beautiful place. Great place if you need some downtime. Great place if you want to relax. I met one lady because anytime somebody comes, I'll let them know, message me. I'll meet you. We can have a drink. We can have some coffee, whatever. Just let me know and I'll meet up with you. Normally it's like I'll go out with you. I'm not really the we can go out at night. That's normally when you gonna catch me. But there's not a lot of things to do here during the day. It's not a lot. There's a lot of greenery, but it's not a lot for my son to do. It's one of those places you have to create your fun. They like the kids may do skateboarding, bicycle skating on like different nature parks on the path. My son has a physical disability, so he can't do that, and I don't want to do that. I'm allergic to outside for the most part. So I take allergy medicine every day. So other than looking at outside or on my balcony, I'm not really going into the outside area. However, Rwanda is one a great place for investment at this point. So the reason I did come to Rwanda is because I purchased land here. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, we can do an appointment and talk more about that. So I purchased land here. I did open dorms here. There's a college, and I opened up a dorm house here. So still in the beginning phases. So seeing how that's going. This is a place that you can come and quickly open a business. How quickly you can scale the business? Well, there's not a lot of tourism in Rwanda just yet. However, they are building this huge stadium. I think that they are gunning for soccer or football here, maybe Olympics, something big. So, if you want to do land, if you want to do an Airbnb, if you want to invest in things like that, I do think that this is the right time because everything is increasing in value, and I'm just watching this stadium and what they're doing. Now my land is about a new airport. They're building a new international airport that will be the airport for trade, um, as well as a cargo, as well as passengers. So that is I used to remember a hundred and something $1 million. I don't remember anymore how much that airport is, but it is a game changer, and it's by Qatar Airways. So if you want to come and you want to invest, Rwanda is great for that. In investing, you gotta know what's going on. So now I know who's who. I know the people. I know how to get around. If you tell me something's in a certain area, I know what they mean by that. And if I'm going to help others invest here, those are things that I need to know as well. So I will say my tour of Rwanda is coming to an end. um, Once my son finishes school, we're out of here. I'm actually going back to Kenya. I've been to Kenya once. I'm going back to Kenya because there's a couple of schools that I'm looking for in Kenya for my son having a disability. I'm looking for something very specific for his schools, something that includes education and vocation. I feel like we all doing some things out here. This isn't just everyday life, hopping around, going here, there, everywhere. No, my daughter, she started school. I want my son to be in a certain school. And I enjoyed Kenya. The only thing is, I would say Kenya isn't safe, but it isn't safe like most African countries aren't safe. Rwanda is unusually safe for an African country. um, so it's unusually clean for an African country. So if you land in Rwanda before you land in any other country in Africa, you're given a facade of Africa. Um, so when you go to other countries, you find out it's not really that clean. When you go to other countries, you realize you can't go walking at night. You need to be in an Uber, a taxi. Of course, you still need to live in certain areas, because once you leave out of these areas, and even here in Kigali in Rwanda, when you go outside of certain areas and you go into the local areas, it's totally different. So Kenya is a bit more dangerous in that you can't go outside at night. You can't just be walking around. So those are the things that I'm like, I need to go back to Kenya and see if this is someplace that I really would want to live. Because when I went to Kenya first time, I went as a tourist. When I go to Kenya this time, I really need to look around and see, is this truly somewhere that I can live? So that's definitely what I'm going to do this time around. I'm also considering Panama. Panama has always been my place where I've wanted to settle. My family is from Panama. I still have family in Panama. I will be going back there to buy some land probably this year. So these are the things that, I consider. Who knows? I may get to Panama and not leave and not go anywhere else for a while. I don't know. So these are things I think about. I do feel like the rest of 2024 will be bopping around some different countries. I want to go to West Africa. I'm going to Cuba. I have some different things to do. And I'm also coming back to the States, like I said, for my son to go, do some things that he want to do, seeing doctors, all those different types of things. We can visit with family, and my birthday, I have a big birthday coming up towards the end of the year, well, summertime, the end of summer. So those are things that I want to consider when I'm thinking about bopping around. The good thing about this life is that you can do whatever you want. Um, like Malaysia asked, do I work remotely? People are like, I'm like, Tommy, I don't have a job. That's not true though. I don't have a job, but I do make money. So when you ask me if I work remotely, what is your definition of remotely? I work everything I do from this phone. Not even a computer, just this phone. I own real estate. I own houses, Airbnb. Um, Also own some state and some apartments in different states. Um, I own a percentage of those. I do courses. I don't do courses as much anymore, but I do one on ones. I am a nurse practitioner that's not practicing as a nurse practitioner, but I just enrolled back in school for a certification in functional and holistic medicine. So I'll be opening a practice geared towards people of color dealing with mental illness, depression, anxiety, different things of that nature. It will be all virtual. I'm still not going to work a lot. I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to work like 6 days a week, but I will have staff to assist you when you're not seeing me. But I found that's not something where I need to do it. I found that it's something that aligns with what I believe in, and which is I believe that um, women of color in particular, and not just Black, Hispanic women, Asian women. I don't know, do Asians consider themselves women of color? Whatever. Indian women. A lot of times, especially those with darker complexions, no matter what they identify as from an ethnicity point of view, they are thought to be of lower class or not as good as women that are of a lighter complexion. And if you think that doesn't affect your psyche, if you think that doesn't affect you from a mental perspective, you are absolutely wrong. So, what I will be doing by the end of this year, I will probably earlier than that, I will be starting my own practice to start seeing these women of color. I do psychiatry, and I found that a lot of them came to me because they didn't trust going to anyone else. So I want to put that back out there and put myself out there, even if it's just 2 days a week. But you will have therapists to talk to as well. It is important to me that my life. Um, is in line with my purpose. I do a lot of volunteering. I thought about opening a nonprofit here for disabilities, but it's very hard to open a nonprofit here. So I mean, if you caught the beginning of the video, I was telling you all the reason why I was late is because I went to it's called Seeing Hands. It's a massage therapy place here, and the massage therapists are blind or visually impaired, like severely visually impaired. So I went there because I wanted to experience that, and they did a wonderful job. But I also not just experience, but also to give back. Anytime there's something where mental health or disabilities are involved, that's where I am. So, long story short, do I work remotely? I don't know. It depends on what you consider remotely. I work for me though. I don't think I will ever work for another, and knock on wood, because never say never. But I don't see myself ever working for another 9 to 5. And I'm not going to say 9 to 5 because I never did work 9 to 5. I never did work a lot. I've always believed in working smarter, not harder. So I would encourage you that if you are working remotely for a business, and you want to travel or live abroad, you need to start first looking for companies that allow you to travel and live abroad. I know some people just do it, but this is no longer COVID years. Well, I mean, I guess in America, y'all still in COVID. I don't know what y'all doing, but this is no longer 2020. Jobs are starting to make people come back to work. They're getting better technology where they can find out where you are, and what you don't want to do is move out the country and do all of that, and then you like up the creek because they like, oh, you're fired because you live abroad. Like you don't want to move your whole life and then do that. I know some people say it, it's your life, do as you do. But if I was you and you're going to continue to work a regular job, which is fine, it's not like I ain't work a regular job for 20 plus years. um, but if you continue to work a regular job, make sure that it's in line with what you do. And also consider you don't have to come to Africa and Panama. If you work a job where it says you need to be in the US or US territories, there's Guam, there's the Virgin Islands, which are beautiful. I love the Virgin Islands. There's Hawaii, there's Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is so cool. Like I mean, do what works for you and what promotes your best life, not anybody else's. Just because I'm out here living in Africa and she over there living in Belize and she living in Portugal, honey, they got beaches right there in Puerto Rico. You can get all those same things and be closer and live your best life. So live your life however you see fit and what works best for you. My son getting so loud, y'all. Um, let's see. Make sure y'all post your questions in the chat. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's what I'm working on. And that actually functional medicine is more holistic. So I'll actually be prescribing as well as bringing in some holistic and some lifestyle changes and things of that nature. So that's why I'm really excited about it because it won't just be about throwing a pill at somebody. And if I need to throw a pill at you, no matter where you are in the world, I can tell you what pill that is. So, what other questions do you have for me? What are you all doing? What else is going on? So I told you about Rwanda life. I went to South Africa. I did meet up with the Exodus ladies, kind of like divine intervention because we didn't plan to meet up. We ended up at the same black. It was the only black-owned winery in South Africa in Cape Town, which Cape Town is one of the most prejudiced places I've ever been to. Absolutely gorgeous, amazing water sports. I went paragliding. I went that used a scooter, went down the vineyards, the wine vineyards. Absolutely gorgeous, not beautiful beaches, but so prejudiced. I learned a lot about black, white, and colored there. Okay, do I invest in syndications? Yes, my apartments are in three different states and they are in syndications. One has been sold off. One will probably is up for sale, but whenever you sell commercial property, takes can take a year or two to sell. It's not like a house. And then the other one will still have that one for a few years. So I do invest in real estate syndication. You definitely have to, yeah, you just that real estate syndications are an investment. An investment where I say there's ups and downs. I've made money, I've lost money. Um, there are ups and downs to syndications. However, there are ways to look at it. The things that I've lost, the one that I lost money in was before I really knew how syndications worked. It was before I had all the tools that I do now. So I do actually have a course for real estate syndications. And we can also do one on one if that's something that you want to do. But definitely look into it. It is another way to go if you don't want complete control over the syndication. If you don't want complete control uh, over everything, like if I'm managing an Airbnb, I'm doing everything. Whereas if son is looking at me. Whereas if I do a syndication, I don't have to do anything but invest my money. So, that's something to consider. when you're doing syndications. It can be good and bad to be hands off, because that's basically what you're doing is hands off real estate. If you're hands off, you're hands off. You have no control, um, which you may not want to have any control. So I believe in diversifying. So syndications, having your own property, or even if you partner with someone and do a property that way, everything you don't have to do everything yourself. You can build bigger with more than one person. So that's a option as well. So definitely things to consider. And if you need help, just let me know. I threw my website in the chat, and it should be posted, charisma-cares.com. Um, so the schools, so I have I did finally find a school for him. It's a school with smaller class sizes. And what I do is I have a full-time nanny. She's my house manager. So she does cooking, cleaning, and nannying. And then she manages my other staff. And what I did was I actually increased her salary and pretty much appointed her as a parapro at school with my son. So my son does not go to school by himself. She goes with him and she assists him. There's one school here, Green Acres, that's what they were doing, except their parapro will cost me $1,000 for the semester, and my parapro is a whole lot less. So that's what I did. Accommodations that, I think it's really like it is in the state. It's based off of your teacher. How interested is that teacher in being invested in your child and doing things that's helpful for your child? For my son, his teacher is the first school we went to, teacher was not invested. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. She wasn't invested in none of those school kids, and that was a Montessori school. Those kids would be running around. It was the craziest thing. We did a month. Cam had fun there, but he wasn't learning anything. I don't think anybody in that school was learning anything. You never even knew when the teacher was coming. My first time meeting her, I was supposed to meet her at 8. She didn't show up till 10. They was like, "Oh, she'll be here." What do you mean? Did she go get her hair done? What happened? Uh-uh. So we left that school and did another school, and this school operates the way that it should. Like, people get there on time and they do what they're supposed to do. Um, so the teacher's very invested. I've taught her a lot about my son, and she actually taught. We did a Zoom with his teacher back from the States, and she told him a lot about how my son operates and how he learns. And she did a lesson, and that was how we did that. And since then, they've been doing really well. And then they've just adapted the curriculum for him. So he is on a lower grade here. It's not a place that I would stay long term because I don't know when you jumped in, but I want my son to go to a certain type of school. I want him to go to school that does have a specialty in special needs, and they teach education as well as vocational. I think that's very important for children with special needs or disabilities, is to pick up some vocational skills, because that's probably what they're going to excel in over just academics. And it's very unfortunate that the U.S. has taken vocational out of school. But you can make 100K a year in some of these vocational occupations. So you do have to dig. I'm looking at some schools in Kenya as well that were recommended to me by his OT here. So it's a matter, I found that living abroad is all about your connections that you make in talking to people. And I don't mean just talking to expats, but talking to local people, because local people are the one that know things. Treat them well, and they'll treat you well. Treat them like shit, they'll treat you like shit. It's really a give and take situation. So, however you want to do it, you do it. And that's really how it's going to turn out. I've learned so much from locals in so many places, and I've made such great friends with the locals. as well as the expats. So that's how you learn. You learn a lot by getting out here and talking. If you're a very introverted person or someone that's shy, it will make, in my opinion, it will make the transition to being an expat and living abroad a little harder because you need to know people. I don't care how much research you do online before you go somewhere, unless you're going for vacation, you know nothing. You don't know anything because if you think about it, your hometown, your home state, what you Google about your hometown right now is not necessarily what goes on in your hometown. It's the picture that's painted for people to see about your hometown. But you really know what goes on there. That's the same thing about anywhere in this world. There's a picture that's painted, but not until you get on the ground, you will not know what it's really like to live in that place. And I say it takes about a month or two to really get your bearings in that new place where you actually feel like, okay, I can get around. I know a few people. I can do this. I can do that. Normally, oh goodness, my first week in a new place is always my hardest week. It doesn't matter where I go. Like that is where I struggle because I need to find out where I am, what's going on, what can I do? What can I not do? Where do I go shopping? Where do I buy this? Why is that like that? Like how do I turn on the hot water? Did I click the switch? Where do I get drinking water? Can I use this water to brush my teeth? Just simple everyday things are just become so hard. Um, and it's because you're in a new place and every place is going to be a little different. But you can soften that blow by getting to know people. And I know that went way past accommodations in school. But keep in mind that not a lot of other countries do accommodations for disabilities the way that they do in the States. And even in the States, they just brought in that Disability Act, like not that long ago. So this is the world out here. And basically, I teach my son, we got to exist in the world. This is it. So this is how we have to do this. Like when I went to seeing hands for the massage, it was up 2 flights of stairs. That's what made us 2.5 flights of stairs. That's what made us late. We had to walk up 2.5 flights of stairs. That took him about 10 minutes. It is what it is. Y'all just gotta wait. It's 10, the massage therapist gotta wait. Everybody gotta wait because he gotta get up here and we gotta get down and there's no elevators. Most of these places do not have elevators or lifts as they call them. So we gotta make it do what it do. We're living in their country. We don't want to be here, go home. Uh, and I take that stance myself. When I decide I don't want to be here, I can leave. That's the luxury of my little blue passport book. If I don't like it, if I'm complaining too much, you know how people in America they be like, if you don't like it here, leave. Especially in Atlanta, if you don't like it, leave. I will leave. You don't have to tell me twice. I sure will. I'd be like, it was nice while it lasted. Goodbye. But that is the luxury of my little blue book. And that is the same luxury that you have, whether or not you use it or not. It's up to you. So, any other questions? It's dark here now. Y'all are like 12:45. And I'm like 6:45 p.m. I'm going out with some friends tonight. So I'm gonna look cute and dress up and we're gonna go out. I just like going out, y'all. I don't know. Visas and residency requirements. Nope, nope, nope. Um, Again, that little blue book is amazing. There are a lot of places that we can go in this world visa free, which means you just go. You get on a plane. You decide you want to go tomorrow. You get on a plane and you go. As long as you can get there and you got your blue book, you're good. But you do need to For me, I don't want to live everywhere. So I'm not looking at residency requirements everywhere. But you can look, there's some places that don't want you. Tanzania doesn't want anybody. They said, come, go to Zanzibar, visit, enjoy our water, spend your money, swim in the beaches, and get the hell on. You can't stay. I don't know. Everybody seems to have a problem getting residency there. They don't want you there. But you can go, stay, visit, maybe, I don't know how long it is, maybe 3 months. Do you need more than 3 months? I don't know. Go somewhere else after that. Somewhere like Rwanda, you get visa on arrival, $50, $50, or you can do the East Africa visa, which is $100, and that includes Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya. Now, that only lasts 90 days consecutively. So you can jump, and you have to make sure you go to the country you got the visa from first. So if you got it from Uganda, you have to go to Uganda first. Then Kenya, they are no visa now. No, they lied. They are visas. You still do visas. It may be called something else, but you have to apply for your visa. I would say if you did like Kenya, do a week or two ahead of time, because everybody I know visa is late. I don't have to do visas for Kenya, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Now, if you go somewhere like Panama, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, I think even Peru, um, Central America, all of those places on the west side of the world, you don't need visas. You don't need, now, there is a time limit to how long you can stay. If you decide you want to stay past that, then that's when you go into residency. And everybody has their own residency requirements. A lot of people are going to get residency in Mexico. I did not complete mine because I didn't have time to go back to Mexico to complete it. Sad. But now the price is going up. How much you need to have in the bank, or how much you need to make, and how much I think the residency costs. But keep in mind, that's still a temporary residency, and that's for you to stay 4 months. Well, one could say, and I'm going to take Mexico because a lot of people are going to Mexico. Mexico gives you 6 months. Could that change? It definitely could. But I mean, they could also change the residency requirements and say you can't come at all, right? So Mexico gives you 6 months. Are you going to go to Mexico and sit there for 6 months, or are you going to travel out of Mexico? I had, in my time in Rwanda, I have been to four other countries. I have not been here 6 months straight. No, I have been going and doing things. Maybe once you got to a certain point and you really enjoy this place and you decide I want to be a resident, or maybe at your heart you already know you want to be a resident, then you can apply for residency. But it's not necessary to apply for residency everywhere. Like I have residency, or I have a visa in Rwanda where I can be here. I have a 10-year visa, and it says we have to leave every 6 months. So it's not residency, it's a visa. Um, Residency, you get 2 years. I already know I'm leaving every 6 months. I know I'm leaving way before 6 months. So I'm not really concerned about getting residency. So you really need to know what your goals are and then align these visas and residencies with your goals. Because, girl, these things could get expensive. These are not necessarily cheap things. Visas and residency, like the 10 years here was $200, which is a really good price, and it's fairly easy to get. You can get it while you're here. You can apply while you're in the States. There are some places where a lot of times you have to apply for your residency in the States and then go and claim your residency. That was a thing with Mexico. So I just never went back to Mexico. And you have a certain amount of time to claim your residency. Because I don't know, I had some paperwork I had to get from my son, which delayed a lot of things. There are some residencies, the pension, based off of pension. So if you get a pension, you may qualify for one residency. If you're a college student, you may qualify for another residency. If you're working there, your job may get you a visa. So you may need it may be that for your circumstance, a visa is better than residency. If you're going to be there 6 months or less, or a year or less, depending on where it is, 3 months or less, then get a visa. Why get residency right away? If you know you want, if you feel very strongly that this is a place you're going to want to live, then look at residency. Like Kenya, I don't know under their new laws, but under their old laws, we get 6 months. I believe it's 6 months, and then it was very easy to renew. A lot of people renew or go out, come back in, do a border run. Whereas getting residency took a little bit more, it took a little bit more. Um, it's a process. So what I would do is I would do the 6 months, apply for the renewal, do another 6 months. In that year, after a year, if I don't know if I want to live there or not, then I probably don't want to live there, right? In that year, that's when I would find out about residency. If it's something I can do myself, do I need to get an attorney to do it? How is it done? What's necessary? But I can just give myself time, because I mean, what are you going to do with a bunch of residencies? I mean, are you going to live there? I mean, I do know some people will stack up, like they're like, I'm residents of 10 countries, and I'm like, but why? Like, if you're not staying there more or longer than the appointed time, if they give you a year and you never stay longer than a year, then why have residency? I think it's just I wouldn't mind. I say having residency of one country, at least one, is good, because I don't know what America's doing over there. So you may need somewhere to run to, right? And if everybody closes the door, you want to make sure you can get out. But I don't know that I would do multiple residencies. But for Rwanda is easy. For And if you someone wanted to do it, I could definitely help you with that. Kenya is a little harder, and they just changed their rules with the visa free thing. Tanzania, they don't even want you there. And then the places on the west, and when I say the west, I mean every place that's in line with the US, going up, going down. Well, not Canada. Canada, they funny about letting people in, anybody in. So think about that. You can go visit. You don't need a visa 99% of the time. You have a certain amount of time you can go. If you're working remotely and you can show you make a certain, or if you can show you have a business, you can show you make a certain amount of money, you may even be able to get a longer visa or get residency. But if you're just bopping around, girl, I wouldn't pay all those fees. I think in Panama, the residency but last I checked a few years ago was like $800. I got me and two kids. So yeah, I mean, it depends on what you want to do. So I'm glad that was helpful. What other questions do you all have? So this Q&A is long overdue. I've been saying I was going to do it for the last 3 months, and I just have not. And it's funny because some of the people that reached out to me to make appointments, I don't think they're on here. And this is really the best time to have been on here, because I'm just giving y'all all the tea. So let me know if you have any other questions. Because if not, I will let you all go. I thank you for joining me. And I really appreciate you taking the time out. And I'm sorry I was late, but y'all know the way my life works. Oh, trying to do things on a schedule. I don't know. I don't do good with schedules anymore. I kind of go with the flow, like free. Uh, hey, Melinda. Um, I appreciate your honesty by giving the pros and cons of your travel in life. And I agree that having the blue book brings a kind of prestige around the globe. It does. But also remember, like, some people don't really like Americans. So yeah, keep that in mind. We're not really liked everywhere. So you need to learn to, when in Rome, do as the Romans. You need to learn the mannerisms, learn what's good, what's bad. There's things that Americans do. Like when I go out, when I'm in a new country, I try to find out, is there a tipping culture here or no? Um, I was on Instagram, my son. I was on Instagram and I was looking at this post where someone had posted, "Oh, I got my hair done here for $30 and I gave him a $20 tip." So for you, and this was in Ghana, for you, that's amazing. Hey, I gave you a $20 tip. But as Americans, and well, foreigners, not just Americans, because Europeans as well, if we come in, right? So we come into a country that's not really developed, because I don't know if y'all know this, but Ghana's not developed as much as you would think it is. At least I've been told. So you come into a country that's not developed, right? They charge you $30, which means they only charge the locals 15. Because she's talking about, oh, I only paid $30, girl. You know what I paid $30 for? To take these braids out, wash my hair, deep condition it, rebraid my hair like this, and leave out. That's what I paid $30 for. So she only like, I only paid $30, girl. You already got ripped off. But okay. You love it. You like it, I love it. So, but what happens is you've already overpaid, right? And then you gave a $20 tip, which is more than they probably charge the locals to get their hair done. When enough foreigners come in and they do the same thing, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to go, the local person is going to go where the money is, and that is to the foreigners. They are going to raise the price on their local people because they see they can make more money, where their local people can't necessarily afford that. We can afford that. So now they're catering to us, and their local people are not receiving the same services. This is the same when you hire a nanny. This is the same when you hire. I have a nanny, a driver, and I have my house help. That he keeps my outside of my home. He does my security, all of those different things. I forgot. See, I don't know. Watchman, cleans the car, all that good stuff. But you need to be within line of the pricing that is set forth in the country. You may think, oh, that's not a lot of money. And to it's not a lot of money, but to them, that is a lot of money. And you need to stay in line with what that is. This is one of the reasons why they don't really like us here. You are gentrifying their community and you don't even realize it. And guess what happens when you gentrify a community? The people that can't afford it get pushed to the side. So, just some things to keep in mind when you come. I like to, when I come to a place, I don't come as just a tourist. I like to find out about the people. I don't care if I'm there 5 days, y'all. I'm going to find out everything there is to know about the people. And I want to make sure that they're seen because I'm a visitor in their country. So keep these things in mind. I even read somewhere they said they could tell an American because we walk around lost but confidently. And when I thought about it, I was like, that's true. I was walking somewhere and I was like, oh, I gotta turn around. Like I'm very confident, but I'm lost. Another thing is we wear our sunglasses on the top of our head. I didn't know that was a thing. We eat when we walk. That's another reason they know about American people sit down and actually eat meals, but we eat while we walk. I thought that was so crazy. Um, in some countries I've been to, South Africa and Kenya in particular, they talk to me in their local language because they say that I look that way. I look like I'm South African, the Tosa tribe. I'm going to actually do my African ancestry when I get back because now I got to know my tribe. In Kenya, they would walk up to me and speak Swahili. And I think it's my look, but also my mannerisms. I don't walk around like I'm entitled. Now, I ain't gonna say I don't never pull that card out. I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna go that far because I think we all pull that card out when necessary. But make sure you don't walk around with that air of entitlement when you come to these countries, because you are disrupting their system and their flow. You look at Mexico City, Playa del Carmen, you all have, I'm not gonna say you all, we all have pushed the locals out. Now Mexico City, they said that the areas that the expat lives were already a very expensive area. So, there's a lot of people that say, no, we didn't push anybody out because they were never living here anyway. But in Playa del Carmen, yes, y'all have pushed them over the bridge. All of y'all female expats have gone there to hot girl summer, turn up, and living la vida loca, which is cool. But be mindful. The same gentrification that you are fighting in the US and you complain about in the US, that's kicking your grandmother out, kicking your mother out, kicking the neighbor that lived there forever, Miss Faye, out. It's the same thing that you're doing when you go to their country. So try to leave a little bit of entitlement at home, if you're going to be moving into their country, and try to pour back into their community, because it means so much when you pour back into their community. Me going to that massage place, I do local massage places, I don't do big business. My nanny, when I go traveling, I bring her clothes back. I bring stuff back to her because she's taking care of my child. I went to something yesterday and bought her perfume. It was $35. It was $25. That's not a lot to me. That will make her day. Like, I'm pretty sure she's never had that type of perfume. It was Syrian perfume. Um, just little things, sometimes when I cook, even though they get their own food out, well, my nanny, she eats with me, but for my watchman, I give him money and he does his own grocery shopping. But sometimes I got pizza and we not eating all that pizza, so I'll give him some pizza. I made some pancakes, I'll give him some pancakes. It's little things that really help out the local people. So don't just go there and order from Amazon. Actually give money back to them. Actually go into the community, educate them. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my spiel. Everybody that does things a little bit differently. I've always been the person that volunteered. I remember me and my daughter, when she was little, we used to volunteer at the homeless shelter for Thanksgiving and all of that. So that's always been something that I've done. And I encourage you that if you're going somewhere for at least a month, to take time, get to know a local, even if it's at the store, say hello to that person at the store, find out more about them. Honey, I will go somewhere and talk to people for hours. Me and the security guard in South Africa, I think we talked for an hour and a half. The people on top of Table Mountain in Cape Town, I think I think we talked for like 2 hours. And you know what I did? I bought a granola bar. After that, I came back and I gave them some money. And because their salary equaled their monthly salary was less than the cost of a ticket at Table Mountain. Imagine that. One ticket is more than their monthly salary. So I came back and I gave them half their monthly salary, half a ticket price. And I told them to just split it. And the reason why I did that, and they said, no, you don't have to do that. And I said to them, no, you have educated me more about South Africa than any museum I have been to. And I need to pay you for what you've done, because I'm paying you your worth. I paid the museum, so I'm paying you because you're educating me more than any other museum has done. So I mean, I know it's not something everybody's going to do, but I believe in your legacy. We all have a legacy and we all leave a footprint. So, is that footprint stepping on their face and treating them like they ain't shit? Or is that footprint that when you leave, people remember you? When me and Cam leave the country, people remember us. And they remember us for very positive things. And that don't mean I ain't gonna go off on somebody. I had a cake lady here I had to go off on. Like I really went off on her. She messed up my son's cake on his birthday. All of that. All of that. I don't even know if she could follow everything I was saying. I spoke so fast. My taxi driver had to come get me. My taxi driver, I just love him. So yeah, I'd be making everybody like family. So he had to come and get me because, ooh, child. But I'm not gonna say I'm perfect. I'm no Mother Teresa. But I do my part. I invite like my driver. He's not my taxi driver. It's not my taxi driver anymore because I bought a car. But guess what? I invite him to parties. Come on over. Are you working? Come by. Because I see you as a person. I don't see you as your nationality. If you're a good person, you're a good person. So um I just went all the way focused there. All the way. So, but I hope this was helpful to y'all. I hope this was helpful. I don't do a whole lot of YouTube anymore. I definitely had decided that it was taking too much of my time for me and my son. And I was always recording stuff and everything else. So that's why I don't do a lot of YouTube anymore. But I do try to jump on here, throw some videos up here and there. And I'm in school now. So it's just, I don't have a whole lot of time. It's the perfect place for school because ain't nothing really going on. Um, but I do try to update y'all. I do more updates on Facebook. So if you don't follow me on Facebook or Instagram, Charisma Cares, and that's really the best place to follow me, especially on Instagram and then my private Facebook, which is private but not so private. Just look up Charisma. So I do post more there, and you can follow the journey a bit more. Yeah, I just ain't got no time to be editing videos. Like, it's so much work. I don't know. But I did do my video for Kenya. So if you are considering going to Kenya, that will be posted tomorrow. I'm telling you all the ups, downs, ins, and outs for Kenya. So I think it'll be very helpful if you're visiting or, thinking about moving there. So y'all have a great evening. I'm gonna go. Well, I still got a little bit of time before we leave out because it's 7 o'clock. But I'm gonna go and I don't know what I'm going to do. But I hope you all have a good rest of y'all day. And we'll do another live soon. Oh, if you're in Georgia, I do have a Facebook group, Peach State Expats. I'll type it here. We do events, meetups, and it's all for women of color. So definitely check that out if you're in Atlanta or Georgia. And my website, charisma-cares.com. Take a look at that if you want to talk one-on-one or you want to know about my pre-recorded classes, coaching, anything like that. All right, y'all. Ciao.